Alrighty then. Successful Indie Author 5-Minute Focus, episode 954. Are you holding yourself to the right standard? Too many, when they first start out, they hold themselves to way, way too high of a standard, as in my favorite author. I want to write like my favorite author. We all do it. It's okay. But understand that that is an unattainable standard because it forces you to rewrite, and you're never moving forward. You're just doing more of the same without getting any feedback. And you're probably way, way too critical of yourself. So what about if you're a freshman in the English department? What standard do you hold yourself to? Good English? Do you use the Chicago Manual of Style in there and read it and embrace it and love it? Is that too technical? What kind of standard is that? You just want to get it right. But if you're fiction, if you're a storyteller, the story, get the story right. And then we can worry about the other stuff later. And what does it mean, get the story right? There's your standard. You paint that image from your mind into the mind of the reader. That is your standard. So it takes a while to get there. It takes practice. So what about your university professor? What about them? Creative writing. Creative writing has a lot of university professors. What have they written? Is it what you've written? It's so important to align your genre. So if your creative writing professor is a professor of poetry, that may not do your science fiction novel writing self a good deal. It may be problematic because they'll continually try to drive you into poetry and probably not nurture your science fiction desires and help you become the best science fiction writer you can, or thriller writer, or romance author. Doesn't matter the genre, but the standard really needs somebody from that genre. So an author peer. What about a friend from high school? How about your old army buddy? He doesn't read much, but he's behind you all the way. He's got your back. He had it in war, and now he's got it here. So you send him the manuscript and does his best and says, "This is great, the best thing I've ever read." Well, how much have you read? What is the standard? What are you holding yourself to? And that answer is simply you. Your standard is you. Your first book, that's now your baseline from which you improve, because we can all get better, no matter how well you wrote that first book, no matter how inspired it was. And there may be parts in that first book that you can't replicate later because that was the inspiration. You had a whole lifetime to be inspired and think about how this intricate plot wove out and how the words would flow with a dance to deliver that message to the reader, and they'd be wowed and overwhelmed, and they may be. How do you recapture that? Still, that's the standard. What's it take to get more of that? I'd hate to think that the best book you ever wrote is behind you, because then what do you strive for? I'd like to think that the best book you ever wrote is still coming, because you can do a little bit better. You can take that feedback from the readers. You can take that feedback from your author peers. You can take that feedback from your university professor and turn it into something better. Write better. And that's all. I always encourage people. Quality over quantity, but quantity has a quality all its own. You need to keep writing. You can't just write one book and expect to make a living off that. Those days are long past. It takes effort, it takes practice, it takes experience, and the more you do, the better you're going to be. And I find on my thriller, I wrote 7,500 words the last 2 days, and I find that flows so much better. I do better when I'm writing fast, when I'm in the zone and getting those words. So as soon as I'm done here, I owe myself another 1,000 words because it's 6 a.m. and I want to have 2,500 words on the page by 7:30. So I might be able to exceed that, and then it'll be a great day. Now, bad news is I've been up since 1 and I'm tired. Of course, who wouldn't be after getting up at 1? But here, standard is me. I know what I need to do to get better. I'm striving for it, and I keep working toward it. I keep writing, and I am my standard. I like reading other authors, but I've written enough 8-9 million words that I know what I want, and I know I want better, a little bit better with each new book. That's all it takes. Don't hold yourself to an impossible standard. Hold yourself to your standard, set that baseline, and don't ever do any worse than that. Keep going, keep moving forward. Peace, fellow humans.